I'm now very happy to have another female on the stage. Kathleen Ross, Head of Content at Atavist. Just two sentences from my part. A very successful publishing platform, home for tens of thousands of storytellers, from very giant companies to small groups. They enable creative individuals and organizations to produce really well-designed and shareable stories. How are you doing that? She will share now with us.
Hi, thank you for sticking with me till the end here in this room. My name is Kathleen Ross. I'm the head of product communications at Atavist. Today I want to talk to you about, Atavist has really two parts to its organization, the platform and the magazine. And I want to discuss the values behind the platform and how that's continually influenced by the magazine we published. But first, our general backstory and the name. In biology, an atavism is a reversion to a lost trait in modern lineage, to something ancient or ancestral. It's something that happens when genes recombined. I think it's like a whale, a leg in a whale, a hidden bone. Okay, so 5 years. Atavist launched in 2011. The company aimed to do something similar with the storytelling tradition of great magazines and nonfiction books, to recombine them and revive them where they were least expected to thrive, online. At the time, conventional wisdom held, this is an infographic that my boss particularly likes, that we were nearing the death of long form, and it was the end of attention span. So we start with Dickens, and then in 2020 with Vine down at the bottom. Atavist wanted this to not be true, right? We believe that the web could be more about just clicks, and that there was room for thoughtful design, innovative storytelling, and in-depth publications. So Atavist built a software platform to make it possible, and we launched a magazine to show how it could be done. It's important to stress how linked these two ventures are. Our long-form magazine not only is built on the Atavist platform, but every idea that we come across while working on the magazine gets incorporated into the platform, and just back and forth, kind of endless. And so tens of thousands of users and tens of millions of readers later, we're proud to be pioneers in a movement toward a smarter, finer-looking web. Elegant story design is a goal for all journalists and publications at this point, and the idea of valuing actual readers over views has entered the mainstream. And publications and writers are using the platform, have demonstrated that the storytelling tool can empower an incredible array of brilliant work. I'm going to show a lot of examples because we're so proud of the publications and the content we're able to enable through the platform. We're a great solution for journalists and publications, digital editors, and magazines. California Sunday is just won a National Magazine Award for photography. They're an example of a publication that's built entirely on the platform. And then on another kind of publication we have is the Nepali Times, that though they have their own unique website, they use Atavist to publish more in-depth features and then use URL masking to make it still feel like part of the native experience. We like helping nonprofits and cultural institutions tell amazing stories about the work they do. From the Pulitzer Center's ebook on Syrian refugees to Conservation International's ongoing series on climate change. I'm also incredibly proud of all the work we do with students in classrooms. Stanford Engineering has their website on Atavist. We see a lot of student publications, for example, Georgetown, sometimes classes. This UCLA class did all these different kind of Chicano and Chicana stories, and I really like this one on Chicana punk, which uses both bright images and audio. And then a sort of popular one during the primary season has been this oral history of Bernie Sanders' folk album that he made, that a Dartmouth student went to archives and pulled original memos and audio. We've also seen a wide range of international work. TW Reporter publishes many original stories, museums in Paris, as well as photographers in Malaysia. And with our own, the Atavist Magazine, which we also won a National Magazine Award, it was the first digital-only publication to win for feature writing. We've proven that digital upstarts can rival even the biggest media names in quality and in depth. This summer, W.W. Norton is publishing a collection, Love and Ruin, of the best Atavist Magazine stories. It was very hard to choose which one made it. So at this point, it's good to pause and explain how the platform and the Atavist Magazine interact on a day-to-day basis. The value of having a small team is that we're able to talk constantly. In other situations, you can imagine how the two halves could remain separate. The left hand might not know what the right hand is doing. But really, the core value of Atavist is that we can be in conversation. In meetings, Katya, the executive editor of the magazine, is at the same table as Jeff, our head of product, and she's able to give him feedback on what she doesn't like about the compose section. And we were able to incorporate that right away. And with this feedback, last year, our talented staff of developers took what we learned and rolled it into an entirely new storytelling interface. This is a glimpse inside. The system includes the ability to build everything from a single story to an ebook to a full magazine. The interface is intuitive and tactile. This is the project page. You can see you have members, different stories. And this is an example of our text editor. If you go onto our website, you'll notice that all of the copy that's used as an example is Moby Dick again and again. The fundamental principle behind Atavist is that creators control their own work. And we achieve this through flexibility, anticipating a variety of use cases, providing options for how users can make their work, how they can design it, what they can include, but also where it can go. And I want to talk about how we make this possible through design, media, publishing, and commerce, and kind of show you what it's like inside the platform. So first we can look at design. So all of the options I'm about to show you are available at the creative level. If you sign up as a free user, this is here. So say you're making a story, the cover is the first thing you'd see. This is our cover design engine. You want to make a good impression. There's several different options you can choose from. This is just the basic example story. Then you could go for traditional, where you begin to incorporate your own image. You can also include video at this point, so you have a video title design. We're seeing more and more of those show up in our published project feeds. They're very popular. Then there's also some that are, more funky, I guess you could say. This is Colby. You also see a lot of student projects like Colby. And then from there, there's even further customization. This is our one called 9 Ways. You can move, there's options for where to center. The example story could be in the top left, top right, bottom. You could put a different color over it. We want to have right in the plan picker, right in the cover design, title design picker, have as many options as possible. Next, so if you have a project, you have a title design, now you can have a theme. Our unique visual themes were designed really with long-form reading in mind. This one that's up right now is called Whitman, which is named in honor of Brooklyn, but also because the Atavist office are very close to the Brooklyn Eagle, which is the original old newspaper. And our designer looked and found a good serif font, which is nice and readable. It's easy to sit and read one of the Atavist Magazine stories that might take you an hour, sitting comfortably on your tablet. We also have the Reinhardt theme, named after the painter. This is our white on black theme, which really makes photographs pop on the platform. And then my personal favorite is Fisher, named after the food writer MFK Fisher. Creamy background, the italic headers, and was really designed for food and lifestyle blogs in mind. And here again, I want to emphasize the reason I keep on saying you could imagine a food writer, you can imagine a photographer using this theme, is we really want to try to think about all possible use cases and the multitudes of users that are on the platform. So users can really design and mix and match and play around with these themes as much as they want. From project to project, they could use a different theme. And really, if these options aren't enough, our business and enterprise level users get access to our developer suite. And so this is still inside the Atavist Magazine. And you can see that there's options for customizing themes, title design, block, navigation, and as well as the homepage. So you can begin to see how we're accommodating both are low-end users who maybe don't have any experience coding. That's really the advantage. You can suddenly have this beautiful, professionally looking designed object with no coding necessary. Or if we also want to give freedom to our more ambitious users, the publications that are using us to make an entire website. So the other thing that's really special about Atavist are blocks. Blocks are the way that you can add in media into projects. You can just drag in a block, and you can add an image, a video, sound, social. We have a social block with MailChimp, and then we have data visualizations with maps, tables, charts, and code. This is an example of an image block. So really all you have to do is take a picture that's on your desktop and drag it in. YouTube, you can link. Audio, we have an original audio uploader. There's also SoundCloud. Maps, Google Maps plugin. Data, which right there we're monitoring pizza versus bagels as an example. And then, so I tend to sit on the published project feeds as head of product communications and just see what our users are making. And it's exciting to see how users mix and match blocks within the project really simply. This is an example of the National Museum's, they have like a anthropology of objects exhibit, and this is a slideshow of bugles paired with a SoundCloud of all the different bugle calls. So you have a SoundCloud block, you have a slideshow block, and they work nicely together. Similarly, in this, you have it's a jazz vinyl cover that was on display with a sample of the sound, and you can also see what it looks like with text. And this is really very simple to make. You drag in the audio, you drag in the image, and then you're writing right in the compose section. We started with these standard set of blocks for users, but we're adding them continually. We have an Embed block, which is very flexible with any iframe. So we're letting users also tell us what they want. We recently added a timeline block because we were getting many requests for it. So far I've discussed how users control the design and makeup of the project. They can also control how they publish the work. With Atavist, it's just as easy for a writer to put out a single idea as it is for a magazine to launch a publication. We see users, this is a good example. This is a photographer who did a piece about the first Indian solo cyclist in the race across America. If you look up at the top, the atavist.com is in the URL. This is just a creative level user managed to make this wonderful, like very photography rich story, and was able just to jump on the platform, upload the photos, and publish it and share it right away. But we also offer, as soon as you get to the pro level, custom URLs. And once you have a custom URL and start to add branding, you can do a lot with the platform. So one of our first examples, this is Music Magazine. They have built their entire English language publication on the platform. All their stories are available, and we also are beginning to build them a paywall as well. Brands have used Atavist to create native content when you have a masked URL connecting to their existing site. We also have seen a lot of publishers come to us. For example, this is Mental Floss, when they just want to do a media-rich story and their current system doesn't allow for it. We also, Crosscut in Seattle has done this as well. So again, users can make a standalone story, a story connected to their existing branded website, and build a complete publication with Atavist. We aim for this level of flexibility because we understand that users have different needs. Some people are just starting out and they can build a site fresh. Other publications might have an existing system and they just want to be able to experiment with more variety of media and have greater control over the design. Next, I want to talk about commerce. As proprietors of our own magazine, we've always believed that publishers of all types, from individuals to media behemoths, should have tools to make money off their work if they wish. Taking the inspiration from our friends at a place like Venmo, we opened up Atavist's selling features to all users. And so there's no one size fits all. And we've also encouraged publications on our platform to experiment with the different options. So they can sell one-off stories. This is a former MBA statistician, like his ebook of his experience. And he's been selling this for $10.99. And we've actually seen some nice steady sales of this story. You can also, though, this is an example with Atavist Magazine itself has both a metered paywall, so you have 3 stories, and then it also links you to a subscription. And the system covers this, which is a big advantage for any small publications looking to try out having a metered paywall. It's very difficult to go and build this custom, but it's already in our system. So finally, also the flexibility of plans. We have 5 different plans that capture the variety of users we anticipate and want to accommodate. The creative level user has access to all the story making capabilities I showed you. So title design, theme, blocks. But then once they get to pro, they can start to really make it their own. That's when we introduce the possibility for custom URLs, branding, logos. At team, there's more advanced analytics are introduced. At business is when that developer suite becomes available and you can begin to make your site look to a T what you want it to be. The enterprise is our end-to-end publishing solution, and enterprise clients we work with more closely, both to use to set up if there's more complicated requests, but really also enterprise users tell us a lot about the product. We get to have conversations with them about what they want, and we make a lot of adjustments. For example, with California Sunday, we built a related stories block after their request. So, I think the thing I always say is, as head of product communications, I just want to say, sign up and start making. We feature projects continually on the platform that have been successful. Recently, we also included, this is sort of the newest, I want to talk about the 2 newest developments of things we've been working on in the past month even. Before in the system, you were only allowed to use 1 email to sign up, and we realized that if you had a user that wanted to create more than 1 publication with us, that was not possible. So we introduced publications, which updated our projects page, all the ways you could do members, so people had profile avatars, and also introduced this nice byline picker. So really, we're a nice CMS system for small publications because we provide commerce features and a lot of flexibility. Finally, I kind of wanted to come back to what I was saying at the beginning about how the way that the magazine is such an integral part of the platform, how we're always pushing forward and thinking about long form on the web. There's a new series written by one of our editors, Evan, that's called The Mastermind, which is about this guy, Paul LaRue, who's an international criminal. The first episode takes place in the Philippines. There's going to be one in South America. He was a pharmaceutical drug company on the online. So he's this new type of internet criminal. And we're releasing it as a series. So we're on the 2nd episode now. And what's interesting to see is that we really want to know, it has a serial style feel to it. So it has, kind of an existing audience for the content. But we really want to know what it's like to release an episode and then the next episode and watch the audience grow for each one. And it's also an advantage of working on this as a team, like I was saying, talking between the magazine and the platform. Our head developer and designer have been working on the homepage, and they have to make changes that we'll begin to translate and make available to our other clients. I got back from the reception last night, and Evan, the writer, had slacked all of us these photos of Paul LaRue, and we got excited, and because there's only a few known photos, and we found this one of him as a child. Remember, this is an international criminal, sitting in front, this little smiling kid sitting in front of a giant world map. So there's this exciting discovery. So we're going to think about how to incorporate that into the next episode. And that's all to say this excitement of making the magazine as a team, then we get to make, turn around and give it to the people for the platform. And that's, that's sort of it for now. Yeah.
Great, thank you very much. Kathleen, do you have a question for the, I always want to throw them to you first. No, if not, I have 2.
Okay.
Are you talking figures about how many people are joining for free? Then the next step is $8. Did I see it?
Yes. So
$8, and so it goes up.
And it goes up.
Can you give us any figures of how many people?
So yeah, we currently have over 7,700 users, right? Is that
okay, 7,700.
Yeah, I'm sorry, did I say that? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 7,700 users.
No, sorry, more than 77,000.
77,000, okay.
Sorry, that's me.
Okay.
And then currently our paid users, we have about, I think, So our creative level users, I think, account for the majority of our users. Our paid users, the enterprise level users, I think we have about, at this point, about 1,000 paid users at the various levels.
Okay, okay. Talking or looking into the future, can you imagine that the generation of user content is not only writing comments on digital platforms of other big magazines, rather than enabling consumers to share their own stories on a much broader level and become part of the editorial stuff in that way that you are doing it? Do you think this is part of the journey we are all part of?
Well, I think I'm very interested to see the way that with the new publication features, users begin to work together and collaborate, who make their own content and really brand it and become their own kind of nexus of content. And then I'd be interested, once you've joined one publication, you can also join another. And then the stories you write for the different publications are all in your sort of running homepage. So you can begin to be a user who exists in this community of writers, but also exists in this community of writers. And then the network kind of begins to grow larger and larger and is connected by these hubs.
But you still have your own pictures. The pictures, the rights of the pictures are in my hand, or in your hand. Can I share all the pictures, and can I take of your bunch of pictures to use them for my publication? It's not like Hearst.
Oh, no,
in the morning,
yes,
like Duncan Edwards said, like the brand is behind. No. We own the rights.
Oh no! Every users own everything they make on the platform.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Atavist doesn't have any rights to it. Yeah. So they're allowed. You can begin to share and spread, and that way it's maybe closer to like an idea like Tumblr or. Yes.
Okay. So thank you very much, and good luck with this great designed platform. Thank you very much. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Kathleen. Thank you all for joining until the very end in this room.